Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? I have just got back from Sydney, where I was on the morning show on Channel 7 on Wednesday morning and Sunday morning. Also had some meetings with some higher ups in the news and media industry, which was great. And yeah, it was a pretty jam-packed week with meetings and stuff like that. But I did have a bit of R&R, which was nice. And I caught up with my friend Hunter, who is the owner of Sunny Coast Windows, a window cleaning business in Noosa. So me and him had a couple of days together where we just chilled and yeah, got a lot of content done, which you may have seen on my Instagram and TikTok. We filmed some skits, which I don't ever do, but they were pretty funny. And one of them's doing really well actually on Instagram. So yay. And the episode you're about to listen to after this one is a little sit down that he and I did at our B&B in Kirribilli. So that was cool. It was a very last minute impromptu video or podcast. And we just kind of sat down, put the camera on. We realized the microphones that we had weren't working. So we just had to use the camera mic. So the audio in that episode, that one. The audio in the episode is not great, so you may have to turn your volume up, and there is a bit of background noise, but hey, it's content, it's good. It was a nice little episode. We had no idea what we were going to talk about, but we ended up just talking a bit about business, about content, and I think he asked me a couple questions as well. So it was nice, and it's just how we're wired. It's us as business owners and content creators at the core. All we want to do is just create, and so we did that, and it was cool, but I'm making a little filler episode here as well because I don't really talk about much of the Sydney experience while I was sitting down with Hunter and chatting about our businesses. So I thought I'd just quickly hop on here before that episode goes live and just talk a bit about what happened in Sydney in case anyone's interested. So yeah, I flew over to Sydney for a segment on the morning show. Obviously, going on TV is great for not only my personal brand, but also the business, also the podcast. Everything kind of feeds through content. So I try to push out the content and really stay on top of my content game as much as possible, because when I do something like, going on a morning show, that's going to funnel a lot of people to my personal brand, which funnels people to my cleaning business, which also, funnels people towards my podcast and my mentoring, which I'm not actually doing at the moment. So I'm sorry, all the people that are messaging me that want coaching and mentoring. I'm still not doing that until July 2026. So that's around the corner. If you're listening to this in, way in the future, then I'm probably, doing it by then. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, going on TV is great. And I've been on the morning show before. It was exactly a year ago, actually, when I last went on. So that was really good. We did a sit-down style interview, and yeah, that segment did really, really well. It's even on YouTube now. It's got 40,000 views, which is just crazy. So yeah, they invited me back, and this time we did a stand-up kind of interactive segment where I was doing some live cleaning, talked a bit about mold, and it was a little bit hectic trying to get it all sorted. I'm going to talk about that now. So I found out I was going to be on the morning show about, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And my agent, Brooke, yes, I have an agent now. It sounds very up myself to say that, but yes, I have an agent. She helps me manage these things now and gets me brand deals and cool stuff like that. So getting an agent is actually one of the best things I've ever done. So if anyone's on their content grind and, you've got a decent amount of followers, get yourself a manager or someone just to, take care of these affairs for you, because it's taken so much off my plate and it's made it so much easier. But anyway, Brooke got this all sorted for me, and we were trying to figure out what the segment was going to be, because I remember last year they told me we're going to have a sit down interview. We're going to ask these sort of questions, and we're going to talk about these topics. And so I was able to mentally prepare for a couple of weeks beforehand, and I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, which is kind of what you want to do on live TV. You don't want to be left in the lurch on live national TV and not having an idea what you're doing. Because sure, I can improv things, I guess. I'm not very good at it, but I think I can, but I don't want to be doing that. My nerves are already bad enough when I feel like I'm prepared. I don't want to be going on live TV feeling like I have to wing it. So I was like, hey, Brooke, let's can we figure out what the segment is? And she's like, oh yeah, well, the producer's on leave at the moment. So when she's back, we'll have a call with her and discuss what it's actually going to be. So, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by. I'm kind of busy with business and stuff. And then I'm like, hey, has anything come back about the segment? She's like, oh, the producer's still on leave. So unfortunately we still have to wait. And then it was 3 days out, and I'm like, hey, anything back? She's like, oh no, I think she's still on leave. And then it got to like 2 days before the segment, and she's like, okay, the producer's back. We're going to hop on a call with her tomorrow, which is the day before the segment. I'm like, oh, okay, I was cutting a bit close. Because I kind of wanted to like mentally prepare. It's like a 10-minute segment, right? But I want to mentally prepare for it because it's, even though it is such a small segment, it's a live TV and it's obviously big. It's a big moment for me in the business, so I want to get it right. But yeah, long story short, I ended up finding out what I was doing like a couple hours before I was actually supposed to go on TV. When we had this phone call, the producer at first wanted me to like do a live demonstration of me cleaning gum out of a carpet. And I'm like, I don't even know if I could do that off camera. Let alone doing that on live TV. So I'm like, gum in carpet is off limits. I'm not touching that. And then they were like, could you clean slime out of carpet? I'm like, that's even worse. I don't even know if I would know how to do that. So the segment ended up being like me using magic erasers to clean like permanent marker off some surfaces and like getting sticker residue off like a glass panel or something like that, which was easy enough. And then I talked a little bit about mold and mold prevention and mold care tips. But my segment was cut a bit short because they were harping on about the economic, what's the word? The federal budget thing. I don't know, something to do with money and economics. I don't follow much of that, but yeah, obviously that's a bit more important than cleaning. So that kind of overshadowed the cleaning segment, and my segment did get cut short. But I was low key freaking out a little bit because I had like an hour or two to prepare for what was about to happen, and then I was on the set, so I was in the studio about to go on TV, and one of the producers comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, Can we get you to give like 6 tips on how to prevent mold in your home?" And I'm like, oh, I mean I can. Would you be able to get these up on a screen where I can see them? And they're like, oh, I don't think we'll be able to because of where you're positioned. Like there won't be any screens you can read off. So I was like frantically trying to like memorize these things that I could say on TV. And then long story short, it got cut short. So I didn't even have to remember all this stuff in the end. But it was like, it was stressful. But that's show business, I guess. TV's always throwing you curveballs and things are happening last minute and things get bumped and things get cut short. When I was on the Today Show, my segment got cut in half because someone before me like went massively over time. So that was a bit unfortunate, but it does happen and things can be very last minute. So I think by nature, like I really want to be a prepared and like ready person, but it's just something that you can't really do on TV or things like radio. And so, yeah, but it was great. I had a lot of fun doing that. My nerves were a lot better than the last time I'd been on live TV. So I think it's one of those things where you just get more and more comfortable and confident the more times you do it. Thank God. Because, like I'm a very, very anxious and nervous person by nature. So live TV is not my cup of tea, but like I said, it's good for business. It's good for the personal brand. So it's like a necessary, I'm not going to say evil because it's not evil. It's fun. It's cool. But it's like a necessary thing that I know I should be doing. And look, I do enjoy it in retrospect when I can look back on something and be like, that wasn't a complete and utter disaster. So that was great. But if I ever do like so much as like stutter or mess up on live TV, you'll know because I'm deleting all my social medias and you're never going to hear from me again. So, no, I'm kidding. But it was great. So that was what happened with the morning show. And then I was on Wednesday and Sunday morning. It was really cool. They plugged my Instagram and TikTok. So as soon as I got out of the live recording, I just opened up my Instagram and I had like 400 new followers, it's so funny. And then, like it aired, 2 hours later in WA. And then I got another wave of like 100 new followers and the TikTok blew up a little bit as well. So that was cool. And then, I just had some other meetings that Brooke, my agent, had organised for me, and just trying to make some more inroads and get some more things going with the content because I am ready to just really ramp it all up and go all in on this stuff. It's content has changed my life, and we do talk about this a little bit in the episode I did with Hunter that's coming up. So definitely give that a listen. We talk about adding in that personal, you element into your content, not just having it be so business focused. And I think that's really important. And it's, carried me all the way to where I am now. And it's really changed my life and it's changed my business. So I would love to see more people getting their feet wet with that side of the content. And yeah, that was Sydney. So besides that, we had a lot of fun. Hunter and I stayed at Crown and we had a B&B in Kirribilli that we split, and like our birthdays are 5 days apart. So we were like, I've got to go to Sydney for a morning show appearance. You may as well come. Let's have a joint birthday thing, and it's going to be fun. And we rented a cool car, which you'll see in one of our skits, and we just had a ball. So it was fun. I went to the new Sydney Fish Market, which is like heaven on earth. When I die, I want to be buried at the fish market. I want people to consume me at the fish market. Put me in one of those stalls. But yeah, very, very fun. Ate lots of food there. I was very gluttonous. You'll see that in my Sydney vlog, which I think I've posted by the time this episode goes out. So check that out as well. But yeah, I love Sydney. I may or may not move there in the next 12 to 18 months. We're going to see how things go. But I think if the franchising stuff does go well and does go according to plan, that would be a sensible and reasonable move. So I'm not completely putting that out of the picture, but I do love Sydney. I love the people there. Just don't love the traffic. So if you live in Sydney and you have to drive into any area of Sydney, even if you're like an hour out of Sydney, the traffic's crazy. So like, I tip my hat to you. I don't know how you do it. My patience and my road rage would not cope very well there. But yeah, Sydney's a beautiful place. You've got a very nice city there, and I look forward to my next trip there because I'm there pretty often these days, which is, I'm not going to complain about that. But yeah, that was Sydney. I don't think there's too much else to talk about. Just ate some good food, saw some good stuff, went on TV a couple of times, had some meetings, and we're getting it done. And all the while, I was in Sydney. I basically just zoned out of the business, and the business ran smoothly without me. I think we added 5 new customers that week to the business, and I've got the second location going under management soon. That's going well, so things are looking great, and I'm very, very excited for the future. So thank you so much for listening to another short episode, like a filler episode, kind of just buttering you up for the next one, which is, it's not great, like the audio wasn't very good, but done is better than perfect, right? So even though the microphones weren't working, we were like, let's just do this. This is what we love. Like, we don't really get this opportunity much to just like meet up and talk because we live on opposite sides of the country. So let's just turn on the camera. Let's just talk some stuff and see how it goes. So I hope you enjoy that and have an amazing day.